Hey everybody, coming to you from the Holler homestead. I'm Nicole Sauce, if you've never seen me before. This is Nighthawk, my next door neighbor. Tactical, my other next door neighbor. A few dogs may run in and out. You can probably hear in the background there's a generator going. You guys glad you got that going?
Yeah.
Yes.
Was it super necessary to get it going?
So.
I wouldn't say it was necessary, but it's definitely nice to have.
Yeah, it's nice to have because it runs my water system. So it's about 4 o'clock right now, and we have spent all day taking care of the basics, making sure our food doesn't spoil in our fridges and freezers, making sure our friends are okay, making sure that the sanitation is taken care of, making sure the animals are cared for. And on a homestead, you don't need a lot of power necessarily for things like that, but I have fish. What did we do for the fish?
Hooked them up to the generator.
Hooked them up to the generator once it was going. If we had not been able to do that, we have an inverter and it taps into the car. So it turns your car into a generator. It's just not as powerful. And I was starting to wash dishes this afternoon because we basically have until light goes away to have light. We can make artificial light, but for me it's better to conserve that when you don't know what your charging capacity will be. So I was trying to get as much done during the light as possible, and the inverter hooks up to the car so we could run things, but getting the water up and running was kind of pushing it for how much wattage comes out of the inverter that I have. So I was carting buckets of 5 gallons of water from the creek up, washing dishes, and then rinsing them and sanitizing them in bleach. And I was about halfway through that process when I heard the generator next door start up, which is enough to run my pump. So what we did is we hooked it up to the well house, and I started doing all the water related things, like flushed all the toilets that need to be flushed, did all the dishes, cleaned the kitchen, pre-made dinner, which is chicken stew tonight, washed my hands, washed all that, put it away, and then told them I was done with water, and they were able to unplug that. At the same time, they've been plugging in refrigerators and freezers around here to make sure they're going into the night cold. So what would you say are the top lessons you've learned from the incident where we wake up at 6 in the morning, no power, no communications of any kind, no idea what happened?
Well, to start with, it was like 2:30 in the morning when we realized no power, no communications, and then it was like when it hit 6:30 in the morning and still nothing, it was like, okay, this is actually serious.
Yeah.
One of us actually didn't realize until after 8
Yeah.
o'clock that we had no power, no communication.
This guy
I don't know
can
who it
sleep
was.
through anything.
Some
I didn't
people
hear a
are
thing.
lazy.
We already had a plan when he got down to my house for 8 o'clock coffee meeting.
But, I mean, the first thing is I know my truck's going to start, and so grabbing the biggest inverter we had just to get some level of power to fridges and freezers and make sure that we're not losing food out of that, and just cycling through those to start with. And then once we actually got one of the generators up and running, then it's like, okay, now we can actually throw everything on, let it run for a while, make sure everything's really down to temp, so forth and so on. So, and it's one thing with generators, and I've been through a number of outages like this, and it's always hit or miss whether a generator is going to start or not. It's why I prefer Hondas, because they're a little more reliable. But yeah.
Yeah, the generator's up and running. What was your lessons learned?
Need to make sure my generator works, so I don't have to mess with it when I actually need it.
Yeah. Is there anything, so where are our preps the weakest for an incident like this? Generators had not been started in how long?
Over a year for me.
Over a year, 5 years or something, because yours was in storage. And I had never actually used my inverter, ever. I never did the dry run I was supposed to do. So luckily the inverter worked. What else? Any other weaknesses you can think of?
We're a little short on gas storage right now.
Yeah, our gas storage is not great. We're fixing that tomorrow. I'd say the other thing that's really nice to have in this situation is knowing how things work. So my water didn't work, but he's on city water. His water works. My water is heated by propane. His is heated by electricity. So we all trekked down there and took a quick shower this morning to get like the shower part done while the water's still hot in his hot water tank because it's not reheating, but we might as well use the water hot, right?
Yep.
Makes sense.
So things like that, that's why I think it's so important to learn how things work. We're really glad to report everybody we know in Tennessee is okay, except for one person in the TSP community. Her daughter lost the roof to their house. So their house is destroyed. People are looting it in Lebanon. And I'm waiting to hear more information. I've offered to come out and help because that's only 45 minutes from us. If I hear that they have a need for GSD help, this weekend we have a GSD weekend here, I'm going to suggest we move it to there if that's something that's helpful to them. And I'm just glad that so many of our friends are okay because it's kind of scary when a tornado goes through. Anything else you two want to say?
Actually, once we got communication back, my phone started blowing up with text messages, Zello messages, voicemails, and there was a couple people in our group that are like, well, we didn't hear from them. If I don't hear from them in the next couple hours, I'm driving up there, and they're over an hour away.
Yeah. Thanks, guys. We're glad you care. I was trying to get a message out this morning by driving around in my PJs. I walked into Walmart in my PJs, and their internet was down. Turns out DTC, my internet provider, is, I think, still down. We've been testing. So, make it a great week.
So, Nicole was one of those people from Walmart this morning.
I was like one of those people you get funny pictures of. Anyway, thank you so much. We'll keep you updated. I'll probably do a show on this tomorrow. Make it a great week.